Hey, what's up? This is Harry Wagner from Harry's Situations, and today I want to talk to you about whether it makes more sense to spend your money on a truck that comes right out of the box, ready to go off-road, or to buy something less expensive and modify it to your needs. Now, at the end of the day, we've spent about the same amount of money on both of these trucks, but we took very different roads to get there. So we're going to talk about things like resale value, reliability, aftermarket support, and more. This is a 2013 Ford Raptor. This is a 2006 Toyota Tundra. Both first-gen trucks with V8 engines, ladder frames, IFS in the front, solid axle and leaf springs in the rear. But that's not all they have in common as you see us take them out into the desert and put them through their paces. One thing both of these trucks have in common, you'll notice, is that they have Nitto Terra Grappler G3 tires on them. So on the Tundra, we're running a 295/70/18, which is about a 34-inch tire. Took a lot of work to fit that on this Tundra, I'll be honest. The Raptor has a larger 315/70/17 tire, essentially a 35-inch tire in a metric size, and that's the factory size. They came on this truck with 35s. Now this video is brought to you by Nitto. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to the Driving Line channel so you don't miss any content like this in the future. With me today, I've got my friend Waqas. He owns this 2013 Ford Raptor. I've got my 2006 Toyota Tundra here. Both of these trucks are set up to go fast in the desert, but this one came that way, and this one I had to do quite a bit of work in order to make that way. So Waqas, how long have you had your Raptor?
I've had this Raptor for about a year. I've put about 30,000 miles on it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah?
It's a pretty fun truck to drive.
Right off the bat, I noticed when I took your truck to mount up these tires, boy, it is a lot faster than my truck. So the Tundra weighs about 1,000 pounds less, but it makes 270 horsepower. So one thing I really like about these trucks is the 2UZ engine that now I feel like has a really good reputation. The 4.7 they used in 100 series Land Cruisers and Tacomas and Sequoias and 4th Gen 4Runners. Definitely not as powerful as your 6.2, but I think they're good power to weight, rev good, have a good reputation for reliability. I believe your truck with the 6.2 liter makes like 411 horsepower.
411 horsepower and about 450 foot-pounds of torque, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fun to drive. Yeah, so I noticed even more than the horsepower, the torque, right? Like that big displacement engine. Oh yeah, this thing rides smooth. I mean, you're already going faster than I was going. We're doing 50 now.
50.
Yeah. What sort of mileage are you getting?
Mileage, it depends. If I'm off-roading and whatnot, I'll get anywhere from 10 to 12 miles per gallon. On the highway, I get about 14 to 15. If I'm lucky, 16 going downhill.
Okay, and I get about 17 miles to the gallon, so slightly better, but I mean, given the horsepower and the heavier truck and the larger tires, really you're not giving up that much in terms of power.
Not too much. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a 2013, so Gen 1, you mentioned they started in 2010. Does this have the factory limited slip in the front?
This one has the factory limited slip in the front and the diff lock in the rear.
And I put a limited slip in the back of this, being my daily driver, PowerTrack's Grip Pro. I've been really happy with that. I still have an open diff in the front where you have a limited slip, so.
I actually do take this on rocks a little bit, which is not a normal Raptor thing to do, so the locker comes in handy every now and then. And yeah, the truck is just super useful off-road, and as a work truck, and as kind of like a daily driver as well.
Yeah, it does just about everything.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted a first gen is that they're physically smaller, and I wanted a smaller truck. Do you find that this gets a little big for daily driving or for taking in the mountains and the rocks?
It definitely gets a little big. It's super wide. It's wider than anything I've used to drive in. However, you get used to it pretty fast. You can take different lines, different driving style.
Did you consider a Tundra when you were looking for a new truck?
I definitely considered a Tundra just because I am a Toyota guy. I love Toyotas, and that's a great looking truck in general. But I wanted something that suited my needs, which was have like a daily work truck slash play truck that I don't have to put that much more money into. But I can just leave it alone, and all I have to work on are my Land Cruisers and stuff like that.
One of the things in my last Tundra, I didn't love the braking. So on this truck, I'm running power brakes. They've got 13.7-inch rotors with huge 6-piston aluminum calipers. I swapped in a Sequoia rear end with discs, and I've got over $3,000 into brake upgrades on this thing now just to get to the same point that your truck came with. So how do you feel like the braking is in this truck? Does it stop pretty well?
It stops pretty well. I don't have any qualms about it aside from my rotors being warped right now in the rear. But
yeah,
that's just a maintenance thing, you know. And the cool thing about that is I don't have to go get any aftermarket parts or anything. I can just go down to O'Reilly's or wherever and pick up rotors and pads and slap them in and call it a day.
How many miles are on your truck?
At this point, the truck has 164,000 miles on it.
Okay, and that's pretty close. I think mine's got about 185, so a few more, but not a ton more miles on it than your truck. Do you mind me asking what you paid for your truck?
I paid 21 for this.
Okay, well, then that kind of makes this a short video. I guess we can wrap it up now because I paid 16 grand for this truck. I just said I spent 3 grand on brakes, a couple grand on gearing and the differential in the back, and we haven't even got to the suspension. You can kind of tell like the front's stiffer than the rear.
The rear is nice and level, stable, it feels like.
So one compromise we had to make is that the bypass shock in the front shares the same space as where the sway bar was, so I had to lose the sway bar in the front when I had the bypass shock. But kind of got to work with spring rates to make it all work out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy now with how it works. Sam and Samco did a bunch of shock tuning for me, got it all dialed in. But good suspension, even if you're not going off-road, right? It's hard to beat good suspension. You use it every day.
Good suspension is the best way to go faster off-road as well. Dude, this thing is super comfortable, to be honest.
Yeah.
It felt like a sports car. And like, I'm being hugged in here and I wasn't jostled around or nothing.
The Raptor really changed the game. The first thing to come from the factory with bypass shocks.
It is plush, man. Coming from leaf spring rigs and whatnot to this, it's a game changer.
Oh yeah, this thing rides smooth. I mean, you're already going faster than I was going. We're doing 50 now.
50.
Yeah. This is nice and quiet. Feels tight, quiet.
I am noticing that the rear end of this bucks a lot more.
It does seem like, yeah, or kind of maybe even some wheel hop or like chatter. I think it felt good. Like the truck to me felt well planted and didn't feel sketchy. You were doing, yeah, 10, 15 miles an hour faster through everything than I was. I think part of it too is having, when you have that power on hand, like getting up to speed, you know, because I think a lot of off-road, you're like, there's something, a rut or something, I need to get on the brakes. How fast can I get back up to speed?
Back up to speed.
I feel like this truck is very well balanced in all regards. And the shocks on these are really unique. It's got a 2.5-inch Fox internal bypass. This was the advent of an internal bypass. So a bypass shock, how it works is most shocks are velocity sensitive, and with a bypass shock, it's position sensitive as well. So you can make it soft in the ride height, and then it can get stiffer. So traditional race trucks use these in the desert for a long time. They can be quite noisy with an external bypass. They're very easy to adjust, which is nice. So Ford didn't want to make that compromise. They went to Fox. Fox came up with this internal bypass, much quieter. You'll notice these have like rubber bushings on them versus spherical bearing, so quieter, longer lasting. It's really interesting to see what Ford did to get all the performance without giving up comfort or noise, harshness, vibrations, things that OEMs are concerned about that most people in the desert aren't. The Raptor has 11 inches of front wheel travel and 12 inches of rear wheel travel right from the showroom floor. This truck's been modified heavily to get 10 inches of wheel travel out of the front. In the rear with the cantilever setup, I've actually got 18 inches of wheel travel. I like this setup because when I see people get out of shape off-road, it's usually when the rear bucks and then you roll or you go sideways. And this truck, the front is set up pretty stiff and it'll pop over stuff, and then the rear just soaks up whatever there is. The handling's a little quirky on the road because the front being so much stiffer than the rear, it wants to understeer. But off-road, I find that it works really well, and on the road, I've got accustomed to it. And but it took a lot of work to get there where, again, This truck right off the showroom floor has more wheel travel than I've modified my CVs, changed the upper and lower A-arms, changed the shocks, modified the shocks, all of that to get less wheel travel in the front than you have right from the showroom floor. So in order to make this truck go faster off-road, there's sort of diminishing returns, I feel like. So this truck has Total Chaos upper and lower control arms. It's got King coilovers with a bypass shock in the front. And then in the back, it's spring under with Devers. It's got an MCM cantilever kit with 3-inch King bypass shocks in the back. I've spent a lot of money on the suspension. It works good, there's no question about that. I mean, I use this as my daily driver, my commuter. I don't know that it works well enough better than what I had last time to justify the expense. Whether you start with something that's bolt-in and simpler, or skip that altogether and just go with something off the showroom floor, honestly, I think in retrospect, I would probably do things a little differently knowing what I know now. If you're doing the work yourself, I think it's easier to justify buying the parts that make up the difference in price between buying a less expensive truck or a better truck. But you know, you need the know-how, the tools, the space,
The time.
Yeah, these are all factors in that. So I think you have to be honest with yourself. What sort of person are you? Are you the sort of person like me who can't leave anything alone? Or do you have the self-control to focus on one project and just get in and drive your vehicle? So what sets apart a Raptor from a normal F-150? Would someone be better off buying an F-150 and modifying it? Or what are the advantages to starting with a Raptor?
The wider track width, obviously due to the suspension, the A-arms are wider, they're a little burlier. You get the shocks out of it, the 2.5-inch bypass shocks. The rear suspension sits a little higher than the stock F-150s, and the body styling is different, as you can see. The whole bed, the front end, everything's a little more aggressive, a little more inspired by desert trucks.
So if you wanted to take an F-150 and make it into a Raptor, you would probably need glass fenders, you would need a wider rear axle, you would need different A-arms and different shocks at the minimum by a Raptor than to make those modifications, I think. I think we can all agree that the best use of your money when buying a truck for off-road is to... Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this Hairy Situations video on the Driving Line channel. Driving Line has all sorts of great content creators, and they're dropping new content almost daily. You're definitely going to want to subscribe so you don't miss any of it in the future. And we'll see you out on the trail.